Well, good evening. Welcome to the Board of Education meeting for Greeley Evans School District 6. Today is the 9th day of October 2023. This meeting will now come to order. Please stand and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ms. Lemon, will you call the roll for us, please?
Director Bentley? Present. Director Campos-Spitzy?
Present.
Director Mash?
Present.
Director Matthews?
Present.
Director Norwood?
Present.
Director Pappas?
Present.
Director Sullivan?
Present.
All board members present.
Thank you, Ms. Lemon. Again, welcome to the Board of Education meeting for Greeley Evans School District 6. We are glad that you are with us, whether you are in person or watching this online or watching this at a later date. We do thank you for joining this meeting. Just a few announcements that I have to start us off. One, in case you missed it, October 3rd was Colorado Proud School Meal Day. And this is a day that celebrates Colorado's agriculture and educates K-12 students about healthy eating and where their food comes from. And this is something we've discovered recently when we have a fantastic nutrition services team in District 6. But only recently, when the Secretary of Agriculture visited District 6, did we find out exactly how much of our school food, how much of the food that our students eat every day is grown locally, and what that means for local producers. And so we certainly want to celebrate that. Very proud of our nutrition services team and the work that they do every day. Also wanted to give a shout out to a few athletes, and one is Romina Terrazone Carbata. And Romina is a Krista McAuliffe student. Her teachers describe her as someone with an infectious smile and a positive attitude. And she participated recently in a cross-country event. And what is unique about Romina is that she's blind. Which there are a lot of things that our students with visual impairments can do rather easily, but running cross-country is not one of those. And so she made it a goal to participate and to complete a cross-country event, and did that with the help of one of her teachers. And so fantastic accomplishment, and we want to congratulate her. We also want to congratulate Greeley Central's Allison Izagira Almendarez. And Allison is a soccer student, and he has 19 goals. Oh, there we go. 19 goals in 10 games. He's actually leading the state of Colorado in goals. And if you think about that, 19 goals in 10 games, that's about 2 goals a game, which is pretty remarkable. And then finally, I want to give a shout out to David Lopez. Genuinely like one another. And the students at West generally like the students at Central. And so we just wanted to let everyone know we have some incredible students, and they do demonstrate some incredible behaviors, and especially at some difficult times, like when you lose to Greeley West. And so those are all the announcements that I have tonight. And we'll move on in our agenda. And the next item is to approve an agenda. So if someone would be so kind as to make a motion.
I move that the Board of Education of Greeley Evans School District 6 approves the agenda as presented.
Second.
Thank you both. Is there any discussion on the agenda? Seeing none, Ms. Lemon, will you give us a vote, please?
Director Bentley?
Aye.
Director Campos-Spitzy?
Aye.
Director Mash?
Aye.
Director Matthews?
Aye.
Director Norwood?
Aye.
Director Pappas?
Aye.
Director Sullivan?
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you, Ms. Lemon. Next on our agenda are our board member comments and reports. And tonight we'll start with Ms. Sullivan.
Well, I've got only a couple things to report on. There's one that I went to the Frontier Jazz and Band and their concert band, and they have a very small group this year, but they have a lot of great sound. And they don't have a marching band, so what's really neat this year and last year, I guess it's been about 3 years that I've really been watching it grow, but UH has a marching band, and they bring in kids from area schools to participate and whatnot. And since Frontier does not have a marching band, they team up with them. And last year they did go to state, and it looks like they're off to a good start. And there's a District 6 invitational coming on the schedule. That's going to be a lot of the schools. I think, what is it, the 21st? And yeah, all the schools are going to be in on that. So that should be some good ones to go see as well. But the other event was the UH football game that was on Thursday night. I didn't get to stay for the whole thing because it ran way late past my bedtime, but it was good up until the time I had to head home. I guess Kyle will finish up on that one.
Thank you, Ms. Sullivan. Next tonight, Dr. Campos-Spitzy.
So since our last board meeting, the board directors had a chance to visit Jefferson Junior High. They have a new building this year. They were previously in the Cameron building, and now they're at the old Jefferson High School building, so out in East Greeley. It was such a great visit. It was tie-dye, I forget if it was Thursday that we went, and we got to hear how passionate Miss Tricia Barron, the principal, and Mr. Corey Atkinson are about their school. They really are a dream team. They care so much about these students. And I really think that that school embodies that we believe that all students can achieve, and that all means all. These students are given more opportunities to practice what we call restorative practices. So when they disrupt the classroom, instead of hearing, you did something wrong, we're going to suspend you from school, things that they've heard over and over and over throughout their academic journey. Instead, they're brought into a room where they're supported and they're taught anger management skills and how to regulate their emotions. The school has a great partnership with North Range Behavioral Health in order to enable them to do that type of restorative practice. We got to go into one of the classrooms where the kids were learning how to make tostadas with Joe Ortiz, one of the teachers in the building. He is such a passionate individual, and he himself has gone out and formed all these community partnerships just to benefit his students. He has construction worker friends who've agreed to take some of his students on. He works with Journey Homes, Lowe's, Ames Community College, and Carl's Jr., and just a real positive visit and an example, again, of our district's hard work in not letting any student fall through the cracks. This last couple weeks, I also got to go to a fundraising effort called Play It Forward, put on by the Greeley Philharmonic Orchestra. And it's a program to, the fundraising program was to raise funds in order for us to purchase expensive instruments for our students who could otherwise not afford some of these instruments, and to allow our kids to have access to some of these special programs. And then, because it's the very end of Hispanic Heritage Month, I wanted to put in a plug for an event this Friday. So it's happening at the UNC Campus Commons. It's called Celebremos, which means let's celebrate. And it's a festival of Latinx music and culture. So UNC is actually launching their Bachelor of Arts in Latinx Music degree program. So a specific Bachelor of Arts for Latinx music. They're gonna have Alfredo Rodriguez there. He does fusion of Latin, African, jazz, and classical melodies. If you purchase a ticket and you're adult, you can have free Mexican lager and South American wine tasting. So it should be a really great event. It starts at 5. And actually some of our students will be performing mariachi music at 5:45. Mariachi from Salida del Sol will be performing, as well as some other mariachi bands. So hope you guys can make it.
Thank you, Dr. Campos-Spitzy. Mr. Bentley.
Yeah, we had a pretty busy couple weeks. On the 27th of September, got to go to the Evans Chamber of Commerce.
Somehow your mic's not, I know it's on. Yeah. Oh, sorry.
My bad. Anyways, on the 27th of September, we went to Chapel Host Evans Chamber of Commerce. It was nice to see Evans and that group of people. We get around the city of Greeley a lot, so just to kind of rub shoulders and chat with everybody in Evans that came to that was a nice change of scenery, and got to kind of show them around the Chapel building and everything they got going on in Evans through District 6. Then we, like Dr. Brenda said, we went to Jefferson Junior High, which is at the old high school, which is more adequately suited for a junior high, but it was very interesting to, I think I've been there once before, but not since they moved, just to kind of see their processes and see how much thought and detail and dedication just goes into touching those kids that maybe don't fit in the regular school system, that come from different backgrounds or different challenges and stuff, and just their grace that they have with them and the way they go about it. You can just see it's paying dividends in those kids and the way that they're getting those kids to interact and the relationships they're building. It was really neat to see. It was refreshing to hear that they have room to grow there too. So they're not at capacity, which is pretty rare for any schools right now. So just to see that they had room and to grow, and that they're really proud of their upgraded building and new place was fun. And then 10-4, we got to go to the Great Education Colorado Annual Luncheon. Last year was my first time when we got an award for the CTE Center, and it was nice to go down there again and just kind of see everybody and just be a part of that. So other than that, I did get to go see a couple UH games and volleyball games. I think that game just barely against, I think it was Weld Central. We won 56-29 or something, so that was fun. I think something was wrong with the clock in the third quarter, so it was like an hour and a half long quarter. It was really, everybody was like, why? How are we still in the third quarter? But the middle school girls volleyball team won their tournament in Kersey this weekend, and so they've been having a lot of success, and the volleyball team looks like it's going to be good for years to come over there. So lots of things to be excited about.
Thank you, Mr. Bentley. Ms. Mash.
So yes, I also enjoyed the Jefferson Jr. Visit. Just another piece of the GPO, a Greeley Philharmonic Orchestra fundraiser. They also have a youth orchestra that was underway before the pandemic, and then of course sort of took a hiatus, and so they're trying to, well, I think it is back. There's some really cool things they do with that. One of the resident composer with the Greeley Philharmonic has been going to some of our schools and helping the kids compose their own melodies, and there's even a contest called the Magic Baton Contest where a student gets to create a melody and then the GPO plays it. So that must be a really amazing experience for a student. So that was just another example of the amazing partnerships throughout the city and community that work with District 6. I guess maybe I just took the opportunity to wear a hoodie, but I'm celebrating UNC week. We declared that last week, and I've just had a refreshed appreciation for UNC because I went on a tour with my college-bound daughter today, and it was just wonderful. I mean, I've lived in Greeley my whole life, and so I've ridden my bike through campus. We've played disc golf and just lots of different things, but I haven't seen it from the prospective student side. And a couple of things that just really stuck out to me is they call themselves a Goldilocks institution because they are just right in the middle in terms of size. And it's a 14-to-1 student to professor ratio. So you can get a lot of individualized care there at UNC. And then also 91% of their graduates at 6 months are either employed in their field or in graduate school. So that's just a really excellent statistic that students who graduate from UNC are really well prepared for their future. So just another shout out to UNC, and I hope they enjoy their homecoming week. I also wanted to recognize Indigenous Peoples Day today. I know we have a small percentage of our students who come from a Native American heritage, but we just want to celebrate and honor their history and their culture. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mash. Mr. Norwood.
Thank you. I did get a chance last week to go out and watch Northridge. Unfortunately, it was their first loss of the season, the football team. So everybody was watching UH. I got a chance to go out to Northridge. And I do want to say, too, it is homecoming week at UNC, my alma mater. Got to throw a hello out to my former business law teacher who I run into in town sometimes, Mr. Glenn Drogmuller. Still the only class that I ever took in college that I didn't have to take the final because I had the highest score in the class. Usually I had the lowest score, but that was because my freshman year was the best 5 years of my life. But it's nice to get a chance to have a university like UNC right in our neighborhood. The education program, everything that they do there is fantastic. And I did want to give a quick shout out to Amy, who, whenever you text her, whether it be on work days or weekends, she's always willing to help. And I had a couple classes that I had to take, and it was on a Saturday that I got to them, so I want to say thank you for your help.
Thank you, Mr. Norwood. Ms. Pappas.
Just a couple things that these have already been talked about a little bit, but Jefferson Junior High visit, yes, it's always great to visit Jefferson Junior High. I would just like to remind people that we have had an alternative program for our junior high kids, middle school kids, several years ago. And I just want to stress the importance of systems and how important it is for us to remember that we do have our I-2030, and it's important for us to realize that our mission is to educate every student. And I think it might have been Dr. Brenda that mentioned providing that support for every student. So just a shout out for the administrative staff at Jefferson Junior and also Dr. Pilch and her staff for realizing that this is a commitment to our kids, and it's an important commitment. And then the Greater Ed, Great Education Luncheon, there was a student panel from students across the state, and their focus of the panel discussion was mental health and wellness. And so it was interesting to listen to them talk about how important mental health is, and also the stressing of us getting student voices in the conversations. And I think that stood out a lot to all of us and just made me feel so grateful that we have our Council of Student Reps here tonight and every meeting, just to give that voice to what we do in this district. So thank you for being here. And then we do have an election coming up, school board election, and I would just like to encourage people to investigate, research, be informed about school board candidates, vote. It's very, very important. It's hard sometimes on an off election year, but it is important. And we do have a school board election coming up, so just a shout out for that. And then Weld Project Connect. Many of you probably know that United Way is hosting Weld Project Connect on October 19th, and this is a phenomenal opportunity for all of our community members to receive access to resources that are free and comprehensive in their just comprehensive opportunity for our communities to get resources. So I think that's all. Thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Pappas. And I'll just conclude saying, yes, Kyla and I did get to go to Chapelo and welcome our Evans representatives there and get to show that school off. And it's always fun to get to do that and to show a new space to people who haven't seen it. And certainly our business community in Evans is very connected to the school district, but it's always fun to get to show that off. And also went to Jefferson Junior, and the thing that I would remind everybody about Jefferson Junior is that it's a great school and a great program, and we're so thankful to have that in our district. But those are small classes, and small classes are our most expensive classes. And when you think about it that way, right? You're divvying up teachers to less students, and when we have classes that are intentionally that small and making that kind of impact, they are our most expensive schools. And so, even though it's not directly connected to our mill levy override, it is certainly. It is possible because of our mill levy override. And so it's just another occasion to thank the voters and say this is how important this money is to locally fund local school districts, and we appreciate it very much. And then finally, as Ms. Pappas mentioned, the Great Education Luncheon was a lot of fun to go and to hear what's happening around the state. And as she said, so many students there was a student panel said that they wanted a greater voice. And so I want to thank our students. And I wanted to introduce you guys. I meant to do that earlier. So we have Reagan Mendelis. Did I say that correctly, Reagan? And Natalie Loaiza Valenzuela. Did I say that correctly, Natalie? Okay. Well, thank you guys for being here tonight. Thank you thank you for having the Council of Student Representatives here tonight to present to us. So that's all I have tonight, and we're on to our work session report.
The work session began with an overview of upcoming engagement opportunities for board members. Legal counsel Nathan Fall presented an update on the upcoming legislative session. The work session concluded with the opportunity for board members to provide comments and reports.
Thank you, Ms. Lemon. And next on our agenda is our Council of Student Representatives report.
Good evening, Dr. Pilch, Director Matthews, board members. I'm Aaron Allen, principal at Northridge High School. I also co-lead the Council of Student Representatives alongside Victoria Leonard, an assistant principal at Greeley Central High School. This is my second year supporting this council, and I'm continually inspired by the talent and commitment of our members, especially our leadership team. This year, once again, we have an amazing leadership team, and I'd like to introduce them. We have Natalie Loaiza from Early College Academy. She is our dynamic communications director, and her dedication doesn't stop there. She's been a student board member at our recent meetings. We have Luluya Tekla from Greeley Central High School. She is our secretary, ensuring that we're organized and prepared for our endeavors. Richard Alania from Union Colony returns to our council leadership team for a second year. This time he's our vice president, which shows his passion and commitment to our district. And finally, we have Reagan Medeles from Greeley Central. She has been with CSR for 3 years, and as president of CER, she is our driving force behind our initiatives and aspirations. These students are here today to share insights into their work for the year. Here is Reagan to share more about the council.
Hello, board members. It's great to see you all again. I'm Reagan Medeles, a senior at Greeley Central, and I am serving as this year's CSR Council of Student Representatives president. This is my 3rd year with CSR, and I have been absolutely grateful for the experiences it has provided, as well as the long-lasting relationships I have developed. The Council of Student Representatives is a comprehensive group of students from the high schools in District 6. Principals choose students they believe will show exceptional leadership and involvement, who CSR invites to join at the end of the school year. A typical club meeting looks like this. Introductions to make sure the members know each other's names and feel comfortable with one another, a team bonding activity to encourage social interactions between members and further emphasize the comfortability of communicating, and then we get into business, planning whatever event we have worked together to decide on. Sometimes we mention board meetings, as the members from each of the schools will be coming to present to you all throughout the year. We set up these school presentations as a way for everyone to hear about the high schools from students' perspectives, which we believe is incredibly important. In the past, we have put on some meaningful events for the city and district, putting a large focus on the community aspect. My first year, we started off ambitious, using our entire year of CSR meetings to plan a carnival that was truly successful. It was community-oriented, ensuring that families could attend without having to consider financial situations, though donations were accepted upon entry, and those funds went to the Colorado Children's Hospital. We had a bouncy house, balloon animals, and many fun activities. My second year, we had a successful movie night, replicating our donations accepted upon entry ideals to make sure families could attend regardless. We had our movie showing in 2 locations in Greeley West with a few games on the side. The kids really seemed to enjoy it. This year, our first event that we have decided on is a volleyball tournament, which our secretary Lulia will tell you more about.
Hi, my name is Lulia Tekla, and I'm the secretary of CSR. I'm a senior and represent Central at CSR, and this is my first year. CSR is a group of students and staff that work to bring together all the different communities in our district. It is an emphasis on student voice and an emphasis on engagement, which we are passionate to spread. We as a team hope to share and connect all of our different communities in District 6. I'm glad to be part of such a passionate and connection-oriented group. It is a reminder that connection is most important in our lives, even though we sometimes get sidetracked with all the important tasks that we have to complete and all the different deadlines and steps we have to do. And to help bring the community that is District 6 together, we plan events that include a wide variety of people here. For one, like Reagan just mentioned, we are currently planning a volleyball tournament that is CSR hosted. We plan for different people to sign up and create teams that will play against each other. We have decided that the teams will be intermixed with both students and staff on the teams. And as members, we're planning to have it sometime early next year, and we're planning more towards January. We can't wait to get so many people involved and even hope you will join us. We hope to see how competitive you are. So to hint at another project we're planning, it's a block party, and you'll know more about it next semester, so you gotta stay tuned. Thank you for your time. Richard Alania will discuss more regarding the connection aspect of CSR.
It is a good afternoon, board members. My name is Richard Freddie Alanian Canto, and I'm a senior at Union Colony Preparatory School. And I want to talk about equality, which is really important to me, and what I love the most about CSR. As you can see here, my fellow officers and I come from different backgrounds and upbringings, but CSR brings us together. It brings us together to collaborate and share ideas with each other in order to give a collective voice for our entire student body, which would not be possible with just one student. When we are able to come together, we're able to hold such events like district-wide carnivals, movie nights, and more. We also, over these next coming weeks, we will have each groups of students from their schools have their voice heard at meetings like this in order to highlight and express an area of concern for their own high school in which they attend. So that's why, to me, groups like CSR further emphasize the power of unity and the greater possibilities that open up. As CSR brings students across the district together, I also love and appreciate the professional and personal relationships I have built through CSR. It has provided me with plenty of new opportunities and experiences that my younger middle school self would have never imagined. It has further opened my eyes and shed a light in this community of people where I stand today. In this District 6 building, I see the future being built for our students, now and tomorrow. And I myself am so happy to see that happen because I do not think I would have known any of this if it wasn't for CSR. So I owe it all to CSR for what it has done for me, and I hope it can do the same for other students in the far or near future like it once did for me. I now pass the mic to our new first-year member, Natalie.
Good afternoon, fellow board members. My name is Natalie Loaiza Valenzuela. I'm a senior at Early College Academy. I have a number of responsibilities in CSR: the communication specialist, the treasurer, and the permanent CSR representative at board meetings. This year is my first year ever being a part of CSR, and I've learned to understand what CSR represents. Just like all members, we have been involved and always strived in representing the idea of what teamwork and leadership can do at our home schools. That is certainly what I think gave all our members this opportunity. Knowing this, I hope CSR is just that, but many more things. I hope that we are able to build a stronger connection among the other schools, create strong leaders, help the community through our projects, but through it all, continue to strive as a district. CSR's main goal this year is to spread the message of the true importance and values that we want to achieve for our fellow classmates and community. We thank the board for allowing us the opportunity to help prove what student leaders can do for the district. We are looking forward to everyone seeing the great things we are planning. But above all else, I think about CSR's future, the wonderful things that are to come, and the great accomplishments that come alongside it all. With that being said, we look forward to an amazing year. Thank you. Well, actually, now Reagan with something.
Overall, we would like to thank Ms. Terry Pappas for her incredible involvement in CSR over the years. She has attended many of our meetings, and I have enjoyed working with her since my first year in CSR 3 years ago. I know we all have greatly appreciated her work and guidance within the CSR team. We all make one request: that we could find another board member with the same heart, kindness, patience, and thoughtfulness to support our team as she retires from the board. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Reagan.
Don't go anywhere just yet. I think we might have some board member questions or comments for you. Dr. Campos-Spitzy.
So I like to hear you guys talk about community and connectedness. I think that's so important. And I think it actually speaks of the four of you as individuals that I did not meet you here for the first time. I met Reagan and Richard in Colorado Springs. They were at the Colorado Association of School Board Conference at the Broadmoor Hotel. And I met Luluya at the Link Library because she's part of the Student Health Advisory Council. And I met Natalie at my clinic at Sunrise because she was doing a paid internship there and she got to shadow me for a half day. So anyway, you guys are the embodiment of what it means to be connected and in the community, and I'm so proud that you guys are our students.
Ms. Mash.
I would like to sign up for the volleyball tournament, please. That sounds like a lot of fun. I played in high school, but that was a long time ago, but that would be a lot of fun. I was wondering what your membership looks like this year, if you have like a certain number of students, like student spots, or how you're kind of recruiting and spreading the message.
So typically we go for more new members at the end of the year, inviting them to our final meeting so they can see basically what the other members have gone through. We try to go for prestigious, like students that really show hard work and leadership. Right now we have about 4 members per school. Yeah.
That's great. And then will some of you be attending the Colorado Association of School Boards meeting again this year?
Yeah, all of our officers will be attending.
That's great. Well, yes, thank you so much for your time, and you are all excellent representations for District 6.
Ms. Pappas.
Thank you, Reagan, for your kind words. I just want to say it's been an honor to be the liaison for the last 4 years, I think, on the Council of Student Reps, and I have enjoyed every minute that I've spent at every meeting, so thank you very much for that. And I'm pretty sure there will be a few people wanting to take my role, so we'll keep you informed on that. But thank you so much for coming tonight, and thank you for bringing your voice into our boardroom.
Yeah, thank you guys. I certainly want to echo what Ms. Pappas just said. We appreciate for years this group has done so much good in our district and provided us with updates with what's happening in your schools and how students are feeling about their schools. But certainly having you here with us every time we meet, it provides so much for us. And you have spoken out. That's what I appreciate about you, that you don't just sit there, but when we are discussing something important, you tell us what you think. And I want to encourage you to continue to do that, because we do appreciate your opinions. So thank you for being here tonight. And we'll do our best to try to replace Ms. Pappas. She'll leave a lot of holes. Next tonight, we have our superintendent's report, and that includes the superintendent's honor roll. So Dr. Pilch, I will hand it over to you.
Thank you so much, President Matthews. I too will echo the positive comments for our council student reps. I'm just so pleased to have you here, and great to have you sitting in these chairs next to us, and encourage your participation in all that all of you students do district-wide. Thank you so much, and I look forward to getting to come meet with you all and hearing from you. Our honor roll tonight, our nominee was for Laura Sneesby, who is an educator at Maplewood Elementary, but teachers are in parent-teacher conferences tonight, and so we'll recognize Laura at our next meeting. I will just remind everyone, if you have someone you want to nominate for the superintendent's honor roll, you can certainly do that. You can do that by going to our district website and going to superintendent's honor roll. I just had it sent to me, so I'm going to tell you it exactly. You go to our website, you go to our district, and then you go to superintendent's honor roll nomination. So just 2 clicks, and then you can fill out that form to have someone nominated for superintendent's honor roll. And then on the superintendent's report tonight, I'll just say that we've made it through 2 homecomings, Northridge's homecoming and Greeley West's homecoming. Fortunately, they both had wins at their football game. That always makes for a better homecoming weekend when we win. And then this weekend, Greeley Central High School has their homecoming, and we can hope for a win for them as well. Lots of good work going on throughout the district. I've had a chance to be in most of our schools now and greet most of our staffs, and I'll just say that teachers are in a really good place, which I think those of you who were able to be at the convocation, you got to see that our educators they're in a good place, they're feeling supported, they're feeling energized about working with the amazing students that we serve every day, and just really, really glad to have them here. Later in our report tonight, you will hear about recruiting and attracting, recruiting, and retaining quality staff. It's the most important thing we do, who we put in front of our students. So I'd really have enjoyed my time out with staffs, and I still have a few schools to get to, but we'll get there in the next few weeks. Thank you so much, President Matthews.
Thank you, Dr. Pilch. Next on our agenda is that Innovation 2030 Goal 2 update that Dr. Pilch just referenced. It's on operational and organizational effectiveness, recruiting, hiring, and retention. And so I see Ms. Annette Overton coming forward, but Dr. Pilch, is there anything you would like to say in introduction?
Thank you, President Matthews, and Mrs. Overton has a couple of our directors from Human Resources who are joining her also. And I will just say again, the most important thing we do is hire well and then retain people in every position that we have in the district. And we started a new motto this year that every employee should be viewed as irreplaceable. You can't be replaced. We need you here. We want you here, and we want to support you to be able to stay here and be successful and do your life's work with our students. So with that, I'll pass it to you, Mrs. Overton.
Thank you, Dr. Pilch, and good evening, President Matthews and members of the board. As Dr. Pilch said, that we're here tonight to give you an update on the things that we've been doing over the past year as it relates to operational or organizational effectiveness. You know that the mission is of Innovation 2030 is that we engage every student in a personalized and well-rounded, excellent education, preparing them. It went off?
It happens. Just
Okay,
keep going.
Keep going, okay. Preparing students to be college and career ready. And then that supports the vision that we have in Innovation 2030. District 6 engages, empowers, and inspires today's students in partnership with families and communities to succeed in tomorrow's world. The values that you have established in Innovation 2030 that relate specifically to what we do is that we believe in diversity as a strength, and then we commit to hiring and retaining quality staff. We also commit to excellence, innovation, and continuous improvement. The 4 goal areas here are part of the strategic plan. The one particularly associated with us tonight is the operational and organizational effectiveness. And that goal area is that we ensure innovation, transparency, and accountability to our community through measurable outcomes and continuous improvement. That goal area, bringing it down a little bit, is to maximize the recruitment, hiring, and retention of all employees in the district. That's what our work is centered around, and that's what we're going to talk about tonight. So we'll spend a little bit of time reviewing our retention planning and progress in this objective area. And the 2 outcomes that are associated with this retention objective are listed here: annually outperforming the state average retention. And so it's comparing us to the state retention rate. It also increases we are working to increase the rates internally for all employee groups. The actions that we associate with retention in this retention objective really are centered around exit surveys and interviews. And we continue to find ways to support and appreciate our substitutes. We look for opportunities to get the word out about site retention and useful strategies to retain staff. We're celebrating the employees through our PIN recognition program. And then we work collaboratively with our Teachers Association to design a calendar that works for our families and works for our staff. Data from the surveys that we have showed what it took to take employees to what it would take for employees to return to District 6. The employees responded with continue to increase pay and benefits, keep a focus on that, provide career ladder opportunities. And then if they had the opportunity to relocate to the area, they would do it. They would come back to District 6. And they would offer better support systems, if we could offer better support systems, improve building culture and build administrative relationships. Those are important things that our employees told us to keep our eyes on. Overall, employees said that they love the staff and they love the students here in District 6. That contributes to a positive work environment for them. So, Panorama survey is another method that we use to collect information from families, school staff, and from students. This year, a new survey for operational staff was distributed. That gives employees on the operational side of the house the opportunity to weigh in on culture, on department leaders, and communication and well-being. Now each employee in the district has the opportunity to provide feedback. While the schools may not be the same each year, it is important to note that all schools are striving to reach that 85% mark. Some schools may have just missed it by one employee. These data show the top 10 retention percentages by site. Actually, it's the top retention strategies, not the top 10. By 2030, our goal is to have all sites at 85%. We know the value in retaining staff, and even though the supervisors continue to work to create a great environment so that employees want to stay, we still have some work to do. While this retention information is from hiring season in the past 8 months, human resource personnel will begin expanding our retention data next year to include all employee groups from December 1 through November 30th. This will give us more information on postings, hirings, resignations across the year rather than just in the hiring season. The manner in which District 6 calculates retention data is by using the number of employees who are active employees in May and who return in August. Human Resources determines who stays with us during the year, who has transferred positions within the district, and finally, who left. This data shows how our district retention percentage fared over time. It also includes all employees who are contracted with us. What is important to know here is that we create many of our own retention strategies or issues because we have a pipeline and we promote so heavily from within. We have staff who are looking for opportunities for leadership. They want to maybe transfer to a different site for a different type of experience or different opportunity. So we have those things to think about and consider when we look at retention and turnover. We received information from Colorado Department of Education about the manner in which they calculate retention for the state. And in the future, Human Resources plans to align the calculations to be able to compare more closely with Colorado Department of Education, or CDE. More to come on transitioning to a new retention model process. We will also be gathering information on Title I site retention compared to non-Title I site district-wide. These new processes will help us meet our outcomes more effectively. So the rest of the presentation is going to be around hiring and also around recruiting. And so I'd like to invite Mr. Boyer to come up and visit with us about the hiring.
Thank you, Mrs. Overton. Appreciate that. So good to be with all of you tonight. I have 5 slides to cover with you. This is the second of our 3 objectives. And in short, we're trying to hire a qualified and diverse workforce that is representative of our community. So the next 2 slides are our action slides. These are the things that we did last year in order to accomplish this goal. The first couple actions listed here have really helped create efficiencies in the hiring process. So as necessary HR personnel, they are training hiring teams as to our hiring processes. Checklists for each employee group were created based on this particular goal. And that really helps the supervisor identify from the needed posting to welcoming that employee into their building. The third bullet is specific to hiring fairs that took place within the Greeley-Evans community. These local fairs really enable us to reach our target audience. Again, looking at our goal of hiring a workforce that compares to our community. And finally, in this particular slide, I'll talk about the fact that we hired 10 exchange teachers through the J1 visa program. This directly helped us not only fill these critical teaching positions, but also contributed to hiring a more diverse workforce. The second action is around this hiring satisfaction survey. So this past year during our hiring season, we conducted this survey. Overall, this survey points to our candidates were very satisfied with the process. Our positive candidate responses ranged, as you can see here, from 90 to 98% very satisfied or satisfied in the following areas. So we surveyed them on job posting to recommending a colleague or friend. One certified staff member actually indicated that D6 has made them feel more welcome than any other school district. So that was good to hear. We definitely have opportunities, so the last couple bullets focus on some opportunities that we have, and these are in the areas of job descriptions, job postings, the actual application itself, onboarding processes, and quality of applicants. Our district equity team continues to review job descriptions. This process really ensures that we have job descriptions and job postings that use attractive and inclusive language with staff, with candidates, I should say, and that are gender neutral. We're in the process of revamping the different applications, really making them shorter and job specific. And onboarding suggestions included quicker access to their badges, Infinite Campus, other software, quicker access to email. And our hiring managers finally stated that they'd just be more interested in a more robust pool of applicants. So obviously we're working through that. The last two slides that I'm going to cover are our outcome data. So this specifically addresses how we as a district compare against the Greeley-Evans community in terms of our student and staff population who are people of color. In the past 12 months, our staff population defined as people of color increased from 28 to 33%. We obviously still recognize that we have some work to do to increase our staff of color to reflect demographics, but this is really good news. And the last slide that I'd like to share is around our classified people of color and our hires within our 6 classified departments. This graph aims to demonstrate our progress within this particular realm. The data compares 2022 to 2023 hiring. And the good news here is in 4 of our 6 departments, we saw gains in persons of color hires. And that includes custodial, nutrition, special education, and transportation. So we're really happy about what we're seeing thus far. And now Miss Amy Spruce will discuss our recruiting portion of our priority area.
Thanks, Mr. Boyer, and it's my pleasure to be here to talk to you guys tonight about our recruitment efforts. The district recruitment plan is building a qualified and diverse workforce that is representative of our Greeley-Evans community. All of the actions associated with the recruitment plan will support increasing overall candidate pool and increase the people of color who are interviewed. Human resources personnel, along with our partners, work to increase the number of candidates who apply to all of our district positions. As we talk about recruitment and our ability to recruit, we have been working on the following and more. We are attending recruitment fairs for all employee groups. District 6 was a key part in starting the Colorado Education Recruitment Fair last year, also known as SURF, which is Colorado's first consortia job fair that educators can attend, which includes all districts and universities statewide. We have expanded our social media outreach, which includes advertising for our own local District 6 hiring fairs. We continue to develop pipelines with our staff and students, and we continue to work on streamlining our application process to increase our candidate pools. And we will also be adding a referred by section to that application that will lead to recognition for both our existing staff and our new incoming District 6 staff. This is just the beginning of our review for a Refer Friend program to increase our applicant pools. HR personnel also joined the workforce of Northern Colorado, and as we continue networking and building partnerships, these partnerships continue to grow our candidate pools. Over the year, Human Resources and other departments post on Facebook, and Human Resources also manages the LinkedIn page. After surveying staff using the question of the week in Intercom, we discovered that they prefer to see posts highlighting celebrations and other recognitions, so we added that new category to our post this year. In addition to the data you see here on this slide, we increased our LinkedIn followers by 20% to just over 2,400 followers. We tripled our number of Facebook posts, significantly increasing our impact. Human Resources has also made a new effort to connect individually with stakeholders through Facebook Messenger. During the 22-23 school year, 48,000 people were reached through our Facebook presence, 58% more than last year. The reactions, likes, and comments were up 300% on our social media posts, and the community sharing our information on their own pages has doubled. We attribute the increase to the new approach of using social media for recognition in addition to recruiting. The District 6 approach has shifted from just posting job vacancies to including a human element, a human face to the post, so that people who are looking for a job can see themselves working with us here at District 6. We also highlight our amazing current employees, recognizing them for their hard work and excellent results. To increase our ability to recruit, increase our candidate pools, and build a staff that reflects our students and community, we continue to develop pipelines with our staff and students. We have our students exploring as early as middle school opportunities within the system and discovering some areas of interest in specific areas across the district. The new CTE Center programs will also be of great help in building pipelines for some of our positions on our operational side. Our Project Teacher Find awardees are encouraged to substitute during their UNC degree program or work as a paraprofessional. We keep them engaged with District 6 as we anticipate their return to us in their teaching career. Tonight, I'm excited to be joined by our teacher cadet teacher leader, Lauren Applehans, and we had 2 teacher cadets, but we have one because one is homesick, so I'm glad she's taking care of herself. So I would like to highlight some upcoming strategies to increase our numbers in the teacher cadet program and then invite them to introduce themselves. The CTE Center teacher cadet and communication staff will be collaborating to create a recruitment video for teacher cadet. Teacher cadet and HR will be working together to create swag that we can hand out as we recruit more students for the teacher cadet program. We also have set up a teacher cadet intern program, which is new coming into this year, where we will pay our second year teacher cadets to intern during second semester. We also work with our university partners to recognize our teacher cadets during Teacher Appreciation Week, and they also provide some swag for them as well. And I would love for you to come up.
Thank you very much. So hello, my name is Lauren Applehans, and I'm in my 3rd year of the Teacher Cadet program, and I'm actually a graduate of Teacher Cadet 19 years ago. That sounds really like old, but I am. It's okay. And I'm so proud of the work that we've accomplished so far. And there were at least two others before me that were been teaching Teacher Cadet, but in my 3rd year, we have moved over to the CTE Center from Central, and the biggest benefit is that it provides the opportunity to be involved in the program to all students across the district. At this point, I have 7 teacher cadets, 7 level 1 teacher cadet students from 4 high schools in the district, and I have 3 teacher cadet 2 students, which are all from Greeley Central. These students and my last 2 cohorts of students have had a wonderful passion for education and our future youth. They are going to bring all this wonderful energy to our classrooms very soon. At this time, I'd like to invite Katie Hartman to the mic. Katie is a teacher cadet 2 working in an intensive autism program at the moment with some great cooperating teachers.
Hello, thank you guys so much. My name is Katie Hartman. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm a teacher cadet student at the newly built CTE Center, and I do my classwork over at Heath Middle School, teaching in their intensive autism program. I aspire to be a teacher because of the profound impact educators have had on my life. I vividly remember the teachers who ignited my curiosity, believed in my potential, and inspired me to pursue knowledge. I want to pay it forward and be that guiding light for my students in the future. Additionally, my teacher, Miss Applehans, told me the first day of Teacher Cadet last year that students want to see themselves in their teachers, which has really impacted me, as there are not many students or teachers in the LGBT community and fewer in the trans community. And I know that I have a unique and beneficial outlook on the world. Now, as for School District 6, it holds a special place in my heart, and I grew up in this community, and it's where I've received my own education. I understand the unique challenges and opportunities our district faces, and returning here means I can contribute to the growth and development of the same community that shaped me. I want to bring my dedication, knowledge, and innovative mind to help every student I teach reach their full potential. Moreover, School District 6 has a diverse and vibrant student body, and I believe diversity is a tremendous strength. I want to create an inclusive classroom environment where every student feels valued and empowered to succeed, regardless of their background. In conclusion, I want to be a teacher because I'm passionate about nurturing young minds and helping them grow, and returning to Weld County School District 6 as a teacher is my way of giving back to the community that has helped me grow into who I am today. Thank you.
Thank you. As we continue to grow our own staff through our partnerships with colleges and universities for classified staffs and substitutes to get licensed, we talk with staff about growth opportunities through the district and how to get there. Hiring continues to be challenging. Even through that challenge, we have continued to increase the number of candidates applying for positions, mainly as a result of our increased social media presence, job fairs, and word of mouth. The creation and maintaining of pipelines will help with our candidate pools over time as well. Thank you so much, and I'll turn it back over to Mrs. Overton.
So next steps for our goal area is really to review and share hiring satisfaction data and find ways to make hiring more efficient in the application process. Focused efforts on recognition programs and building supervisor resources. Explore satisfaction engagement at district sites so that we can build on positive work environments. And then we'll continue to expand and grow our teacher pipeline and start to create new pipelines incorporating our CTE Center and beyond. So we are here to entertain any questions for you at the end of our presentation.
Thank you for being here. I do think we'll have a few questions for you guys. And looks like Dr. Brenda Campos-Spitzy is first.
So I wanted to start by congratulating you on the positive trend in the retention rates amongst all employees. That's really admirable. I always say people vote with their feet, and with jobs, there's a lot that is vocation, but there is a lot that is pay, and the culture you're working with, how much you like your colleagues, all that. So the positive trend to me tells me, people are more satisfied with their jobs here in District 6. I love the idea of the exit and stay interviews. What better way to get feedback than to ask why you're leaving and what would make you come back? I love those questions. And sharing best practices among schools that have a high staff retention rate, I think is excellent. Just what are you guys doing right that we might implement? I want to applaud you on your mission statement of hiring qualified and competent teachers that also reflect the diversity in our student body. A story that comes up that I heard from a retired teacher from Billy Martinez. She said she was talking to her students one day and she asked them, raise your hands and I want to hear what your favorite foods are. And so her kids raised their hands and she went around the room and it was, pizza and hamburgers. And she just took that moment to say, I love pizza and hamburgers too, but I also really love pozole and tamales. And she says her kids' eyes just lit up and were like, me too. So, there is that sharing that cultural background with your teacher that does allow students to be more of their authentic selves, that I think is really important. Creating a more robust applicant pool, increasing our applicant pool. We keep hearing that we have open positions, but the pool is drying up. So thank you for focusing on pipelines where we can fill that pool up and have lots of applicants to pick from. And I think those are my comments. Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Brenda.
Ms. Pappas is next.
Thank you for your presentation. I do have a question for Lauren. It's a clarification question. So when you had the teacher cadet program at Greeley Central,
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. I think
so at Greeley Central, it was technically open to all District 6 students could attend, but based on, we all had different schedules and then the transportation with it only being an hour and a half long, I believe if I were to follow the track of teacher cadet back, it originated at Greeley West and then it moved with Diana Hall to Northridge. And then when Diana Hall left, it came over to Central with Jessica Thomas, and then Jessica Thomas left and I got to take it on after her. And I tried so hard. I interviewed students from Northridge and it was so hard with our different schedules. And the CTE Center allows us to have kind of a uniform schedule, or at least a more uniform outlook. So they're with me and they're getting those concurrent enrollment too, but they're also getting that English and the social studies and the elective credits. So they're not missing out on their home high school, all those pieces, but it's definitely, I have students from other schools. So it's really I think it's really great.
Right. So then the students that were in your teacher cadet program last year, are they coming to the CTE Center or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So I only had 3 that continued into year 2. So year 2 is more of an internship experience.
Okay.
They spend, I think I have 110. I think they're in the classroom for 110 hours a semester. More? More. They're tracking at least 110, maybe it's 130, but they're tracking about 110 hours. And I only had Teacher Cadet 1 at Central last year, so I didn't have any Teacher Cadet 2 students from the other high schools. But next year, I hope that I'll have at least 4.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for that clarification. Appreciate it. Appreciate what you do.
Ms. Mesh.
I thank you very much for this presentation, and I'm just generally think that this is a really great picture. I'm really encouraged by these numbers, 89, almost 90% retention across the district, up from 80%. I mean, we've 10% increase, that's enormous. And I just feel like you're really looking at this from so many different angles. I love the idea of the swag. I mean, who doesn't want a free t-shirt? But that obviously is maybe one of the more silly things I could have pointed out. But you're looking at so many different directions, and I really think that that is the best way. I was really encouraged to see so many of our schools being in that 90, even 100% of retention. And so, yeah, whatever we can do to find out what is going really well in those buildings. We talked a little bit about student voice. And so, Katie, I would love to know, I mean, you maybe can't answer it right now, but like the Teacher Cadet students now, if we can tap into what made you really interested, which you shared your experience for sure, but how maybe the students feel we can recruit other students.
I feel like a really important thing, just in general, with trying to get students to do anything that other students have done, is seeing older students. Like I looked up to the seniors and the juniors when I was a freshman, and seeing their experiences. Like I can remember Avon McCall from last year. She was a Teacher Cadet 2 student, and she's super successful. She won the Betcher Scholarship and is in college, which is really impressive. And that drove me even harder towards Teacher Cadet 2 and pursuing my education, because I know I can do it, and I know that if we make an effort to have our current students show younger students that it's possible and that it's a really great opportunity, I think that's where we want to go.
That sounds great. And maybe we can even invite some of those D6 graduates who are now pursuing their education degree to come back and share how it gave them that jump start.
Absolutely. Thank you.
I don't see any other questions, Ms. Overton. I'll ask one final one, though, and just when you look at the next 5 years, right, what do you see as the greatest challenge in terms of either recruitment or retention? And how might we help you meet the challenge as a board?
I appreciate the efforts that you all make to engage with us and engage across the district. I appreciate the Teachers Association who will bring their voice and teachers' voices, and then other employees who will bring their voice to Human Resources and to Dr. Pilch. It's the openness that we have in this district to work together and to problem solve that makes us a destination district. So continuing that work, I believe, is going to be the best hope for us in terms of both retaining and then attracting other people to come here. That's what we hear often, is that we hear that this is happening here. I mean, these good things are happening here. And we always have work to do, right? We always have work to do where we can get better. But working collaboratively with you all, with district leadership, with the Teachers Association and other employee groups, we just stay focused there, and that's what's going to get us. I think that's what in 5 years we'll only be better. Look at where we've been since the last 5 years.
Well, thank you. We do actually have another question, Mr. Bentley.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry I buzzed in late. Just kind of, I couldn't resist the urge, but I just wanted to say kudos to you guys. As an employer myself, I know how challenging this is. Seems like post-COVID has made it extra challenging. I know you guys were already in a shortage before that, but the way you guys go outside of the box and really are being creative, it says a lot about your dedication to the goal of retaining and following the plan. Also, I just want to, like, the dynamic, one thing that I didn't really realize, the negotiations with the GEA during their contract renewal, the relationship you guys have built as an employer and employees, that they come to the table with things that would make your job hiring and retaining people. That was the main points of discussions that I can remember were hey, our mental health and keeping teachers from burning out. You know, obviously pay is always a thing, but the pay's just been in line with basically inflation numbers coming from the state, you know. So I thought that added another level of dynamic that maybe the private world doesn't get to see and on a day-to-day basis. But most of that is just you guys have been building a great relationship over the last 8 years in that consensus circle during negotiations. So kudos to Dr. Pilch and you guys for, you know, kind of taking that and going back and doing the work and trying to keep as many teachers happy and employed as possible.
Thank you, Mr. Bentley. Thank you.
And thank you. We do appreciate you being here tonight, and we certainly appreciate the work. As Dr. Pilch said, it's the most important thing we do is to hire and retain great teachers and great staff, and so we certainly appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next tonight, we have our public participation. As a board, we welcome the comments of community members, and we dedicate a portion of each business meeting to provide an opportunity for the community to present brief comments. All speakers are limited to 2 minutes for comments. Our board members typically will not engage in discussion or provide an immediate response, but we will ask district staff to respond as appropriate. Written testimony or speaker handouts must be submitted to the board secretary, Ms. Amy Lemon, and not to individual board members. The board is committed to providing a safe environment where all members of the school community are treated with dignity and respect, and we expect all speakers to exercise their speech rights responsibly. Speakers are responsible for their own speech, and speakers' remarks must be suitable for an audience that includes kindergarten through 12th grade students. Anyone who disturbs order may be required to sit down or to leave the boardroom. We ask all speakers and those in attendance to conduct themselves in a dignified and non-disruptive manner. Cheering, snapping, clapping, and other distractions are not allowed during or upon completion of any public comment. First tonight, we have Mr. Brian Sullivan. Next on our list, we have Ms. Maria Foster. Welcome, Ms. Foster. Thank you for being here. You'll have 2 minutes.
Thank you, Superintendent Pilch, members of the board, student representatives. The prevailing wisdom used to be when planting a tree that you dug a hole 2 to 3 times the size of the root ball and you filled it with the best topsoil you could find. And then you put in 3 sturdy stakes around the tree and tethered it with soft ties, and you left it that way for several years. And the goal was to protect the tree and help it grow straight and strong. But there was an unintended consequence to this method that became apparent once the tree was mature. It was much more likely to be uprooted and fall over in a storm. The tree never developed a strong foundation. Without exposure to wind, the tree's roots were not stimulated to grow and act as a counterbalance. The roots didn't want to leave the comfort zone that the rich soil provided, so root growth was stunted. Well-intentioned efforts to protect the tree actually deprived it of a strong foundation. In the same way, I think well-intentioned efforts to protect our kids can have the same unfortunate effect. Removing every book or material that might challenge them prevents them from growing. Asking them to get out of their comfort zone by reading a book that presents a lived experience different from their own provides them with an opportunity to grow roots of compassion and empathy that can serve them well the rest of their lives. Is every book appropriate for every child? Of course not. But this national trend toward overzealously censoring books without regard to literary value or context does not protect children. Instead, it discourages them from developing a strong life foundation. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Foster. Next tonight, we have Ms. Ellen Foster. Thank you for being here, Ms. Foster. You'll have 2 minutes.
Thank you for this opportunity, and good evening to you all. In looking at current issues in education, both in District 6 and nationwide, it seems that almost all are based in fear. The fear then turns to anger and hate. This is true for issues such as book challenges, social and emotional learning, pronoun use, bathroom use by transgender students, inclusion of marginalized people when teaching our history, and more. Historically, when we have let our fear dominate our ability to think rationally, the outcomes have not been something to be proud of. Some examples are the treatment of First Nations people by settlers, explorers, churches, and governments, the Salem witch trials, the Chinese Exclusion Act, denying women the right to vote or own property, the internment of U.S. citizens of Japanese descent during World War II, Jim Crow laws, prohibitions against interracial marriage, laws forbidding gay marriage, the Muslim ban. As we look back, we can see that these attempts at otherizing and marginalizing those different from ourselves were based on fear, not facts and truths. A quote from the novel Dune says, "I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little death that brings total obliteration. I will face my fear." I hope we can move beyond fear, hate, and anger and see the value in all people, most especially our students. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Foster. Next tonight, we have Ms. Sonia Miller. Next on our agenda tonight is our consent agenda, and this is an action item that will need a motion.
I move that the Board of Education of Greeley Evans School District 6 approves items as presented on the consent agenda and authorizes the officers to sign any and all contracts.
Second.
Thank you both. Is there any discussion on the consent agenda? Seeing none, Ms. Lemon, will you give us a vote, please?
And Director Bentley?
Present.
Director Campos-Spitzy?
Present.
May we say aye for these? Thank you, Director Bentley.
Aye.
Director Campos-Spitzy?
Aye.
Director Mash?
Aye.
Director Matthews?
Aye.
Director Norwood?
Aye.
Director Pappas?
Aye.
Director Sullivan?
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you, Ms. Lemon. Next on our agenda is a purchase of dedicated water in Evans, and this is also an action item that will need a motion.
I move to approve the agreement for sale and purchase of equivalent water rights as presented and authorize the superintendent or designee to negotiate and execute all contracts to complete this transaction.
Second.
Thank you both. Before we discuss this, Dr. Pilch, is there anything you would like to say in the introduction?
Thank you, President Matthews. I think just for the purpose of the public, I'll just clarify that this is the purchase of an opportunity to own dedicated water in the Evans part of the Greeley Evans School District, which would allow District 6 to access water for the future use of in a future school. We have been working on the possibility of land purchase in Evans. We also own the land adjacent to Prairie Heights Middle School. We do see a need for future water use for the school district in the Evans community. And so we've been working with a broker to secure the water should we need it in the future.
Thank you, Dr. Pilch. Is there any comment or discussion from board members? Mr. Bentley.
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody at the district that's, I know Evans is pretty high on their list of things to, they're expecting exponential growth, as is all of Weld County. And so this just gives us the ability to address that growth as it comes and future school building possibilities with the water that's more valuable than gold at the moment. So it just, as the opportunity arises and you guys just forward thinking, I just really appreciate you guys paying attention to those needs and directing us in that direction.
Thank you, Mr. Bentley. Ms. Mash.
I don't think I have anything to add. I just wanted to say this is just part of our future focus. We had our facility assessment done before we brought the bond to the voters in 2019, and we know that we have to prepare for much more growth. So this is just a piece of that. So yes, thank you to all those who have been orchestrating this.
I don't see any other comments. I'll add my thanks. Thank you for always thinking about the future. And so, Ms. Lemon, will you give us a vote, please?
And Director Bentley?
Aye.
Director Campos-Spitzy?
Aye.
Director Mesh?
Aye.
Director Matthews?
Aye.
Director Norwood?
Aye.
Director Pappas?
Aye.
Director Sullivan?
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you, Ms. Lemon. Next on our agenda are revisions to our G personnel policies, and this is an action item that will need a motion.
I move that the Board of Education of Greeley Evans School District 6 revises the G personnel policies as presented.
Second.
Thank you both. These are pretty minimal changes that we have, but if there's any discussion or comment from board members, we'll entertain that now. Seeing none, Ms. Lemon, will you give us a vote, please?
And Director Bentley?
Aye.
Director Campos-Spitzy?
Aye.
Director Mesh?
Aye.
Director Matthews?
Aye.
Director Norwood?
Aye.
Director Pappas?
Aye.
Director Sullivan?
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you, Ms. Lemon. Next, we have revisions to policy LBD relations with district charter schools. This is an action item that needs a motion.
I move that the Board of Education of Greeley Evans School District 6 approves revisions to policy LBD relations with district charter schools as presented.
Second.
Thank you all. Again, these are pretty minimal policy changes that we have, but if there's any discussion, we'll entertain that now. Seeing none, Ms. Lemon, will you give us a vote, please?
And Director Bentley?
Aye.
Director Campos-Spitzy?
Aye.
Director Mesh?
Aye.
Director Matthews?
Aye.
Director Norwood?
Aye.
Director Pappas?
Aye.
Director Sullivan?
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you, Ms. Lemon. And finally, tonight we have social media litigation, and this too is an action item that requires a motion.
I move that the Board of Education approves the district's participation in mass joinder litigation against certain social media companies and authorize the superintendent to sign any attorney-client engagement agreement and associated documents.
Second.
Thank you both. Dr. Pilch, before we open this up to board members, I'll let you introduce this one for us if you would like to.
Thank you, President Matthews. I've asked legal counsel, Mr. Nathan Fall, to come to the podium and to share just an overview for the public on what we would be engaging here in the future with your authorization for me to do so.
Thank you, Dr. Pilch, President Matthews, members of the board. Just as a reminder to this board, so what this is it's a class action lawsuit involving, at this time, at least 700 school districts nationwide. They are challenging major social media companies in this class action lawsuit, alleging that these social media companies are engaging in deceptive practices that have been intentionally designed to promote products to attract and addict children. The social media companies that this law firm is going after include Meta, which owns Facebook, Instagram, Snap Inc., which owns Snapchat, TikTok, and then Alphabet Inc., which is the parent company for Google and YouTube. So obviously these are some pretty big hitters in the social media world. In Colorado so far, Jefferson County School District 1, Denver Public Schools District 1, Telluride School District, Aspen School District, and Mesa County School District 51 have all joined this lawsuit. As part of this lawsuit, the law firm is alleging that these social media companies put in inadequate age verification measures. They have insufficient parental controls. There's endless scrolling, i.e. doom scrolling, constant notifications, and compulsive use by students, as well as targeted algorithms, all of which have created a youth mental health crisis nationwide. As a public school district, we are uniquely impacted due to all the costs that we have incurred to address mental health, as well as all the costs that we have incurred to address disruptive behaviors associated with social media, as well as the costs that have incurred to address off-campus behavior that's a result of social media use. As part of joining this lawsuit, it should be fairly minimal work on the district side. This is a class action lawsuit. We would be joined again with hundreds, maybe if not thousands of other school districts nationwide. And really, we would just be an additional fact party to this case. There shouldn't be a lot of involvement from this district. But the outcome could be significantly beneficial to this school district in terms of addressing mental health among students, and perhaps there would be a monetary award awarded if there was success at trial. So given this, I have spoken with some other attorneys in the state who have joined this lawsuit, and it just seems like there's nothing but benefit and very little risk to joining this. And so it is my recommendation that the board does vote to join tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fall. Mr. Bentley, you have a comment?
Yeah, I just want to voice my support to this also. I think any parent or teacher in today's times would also voice their support. I mean, on a daily basis, social media becomes a topic of parenting at my household, I know, and I know I've seen it in the schools, and a lot of our issues originate or are accelerated or amplified, magnified by social media. So not so much the fiscal end of this is, I don't think, is our goal, but getting them to maybe help us get some restrictions and try to tone down the use of social media, at least in a classroom time frame or overall. You know, I think this is highly beneficial, and there's nothing but pros that could come out of this with minimal input on yours and the district's part. So I'm fully for this. So thank you for bringing this to us.
Thank you, Mr. Bentley. Dr. Campos-Spitzy.
Just want to echo a lot of the things that Kyle just said, but agreed that the mental health youth crisis that our country's facing, a lot has to do with social media and self-esteem issues that kids have as far as, relying on all the likes and all that, cyberbullying that happens in and out of the classroom, and the constant distraction. I always say that I, as a 39-year-old adult, to have this constantly sending me notifications, it's hard for me to multitask. I know some students say they're really good at multitasking, but I don't think it's conducive to an academic environment. It's not conducive to learning. So also in full support of this legislation. I don't want to put Natalie or Reagan on the spot, but I was interested to hear the student perspective on this litigation.
Thank you, Dr. Campos-Spitzy. Ms. Mesh.
She's asking them.
Well, they can bring in if they want to. They might not want to speak. Ms. Pappas.
Well, I think that it is a very big problem. I think in my homeschool at Early College Academy, well, right now I'm only taking college level courses, so that requires the rules are technically from your college professors, and they've all have a very strong rule where you're not allowed on your phone, and that's benefited me because I know in past years the teachers were very lenient and they were just we understand if there's things going on and stuff, but students do take advantage of that. But I think having it so that you don't have a phone, you don't get that distraction Dr. Campos-Spitzy said, it's very beneficial, and it's allowed me to actually pay attention, be in class discussions, making sure I really understand the material and what's going on in class, instead of just kind of taking advantage of they really don't mind if I'm on my phone, what's the word? I don't even know, but Yeah, that's what I got to say. I don't know if Reagan has anything to add.
Don't feel compelled, Reagan.
I'd have to know a little bit more about the topic. I always see both sides to a lot of arguments. So I definitely get the mental health crisis portion of this because it is definitely impactful and, you know, I've seen it with my own eyes. But I also can see the other side of it. You know, technology is growing these days and it's becoming more prominent. I think that it can be useful at some points, but some points it's not, more times than not. And yeah, I'd have to know a little bit more about the topic to make a complete opinion on it.
Thank you. Thank you, Reagan. Ms. Mash.
I just also wanted to voice my consent to this, joining this lawsuit. Also a parent of two teenagers who I witnessed the very real impacts of the social media. And I think conversations we try to have with our kids when we're getting frustrated about their usage of the phone is that it is designed to be addictive. It is about brain chemistry. Yeah, that's the way it's designed, and it works well. They did their research and they designed the product exactly the way that it was intended. And so maybe it would also be helpful if that was sort of made more publicly known, that like it's not your fault that you're addicted to your phone. That's the way it's meant to work, and therefore there just needs to be better protections. And I also say to my kids that going to school is your job, and so you can use your phone at different times. But anyway, I think that this is a great way, that collective voice of over 700 districts really, I think, is going to be powerful to send a message.
Thank you, Ms. Mash. Any other comments or questions from board members? Seeing none, Ms. Lemon, will you give us a vote, please?
Director Bentley?
Aye.
Director Campos-Spitzy?
Aye.
Director Mash?
Aye.
Director Matthews?
Aye.
Director Norwood?
Aye.
Director Pappas?
Aye.
Director Sullivan?
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you, Ms. Lemon. Before we conclude tonight, Dr. Pilch, we had a public speaker who made some very specific allegations, and not all of those in order, but I would like to give you a chance to respond, if you would like to those allegations before we conclude our meeting tonight.
Thank you for the opportunity, President Matthews. There were some significant remarks made by Ms. Miller at the podium tonight, which are gravely inaccurate and I believe damaging not only to the school and to staff of the school, but also possibly to the child, should there be individuals who know whom this child is, whom these allegations have been made about. I would like to ask Chief of Safety and Security John Gates to come up and just share very high level what we can. We of course do not want to violate any confidentiality, but I have all the confidence that this has been thoroughly investigated, and what Ms. Miller alleges is completely inaccurate. Chief Gates?
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Piltz. The district is well aware of the allegations made this evening, not just one school, but a second school, both in the city of Evans. The Evans Police Department has thoroughly investigated and vetted both incidents while in contact with Director Corliss or myself, and they deemed the incidents to be without merit, and their cases have been closed. If I can add any other questions I might be able to answer, I'd be happy to try.
All right. Well, I don't see anybody with questions for you, Mr. Gates. So thank you for clarifying that for us and for our public, and we do apologize. Sorry.
No, go
Ms.
ahead.
Pappas.
Go ahead, but after you're done.
Oh, I'm done. Go ahead.
So I just want to say that I really appreciate you asking. I appreciate your comments, and I appreciate you clarifying. It is so frustrating to have Miss Miller come and share her poetry at every meeting, and while as a school board member we've come to expect that, but this was really out of line tonight, and I just want to be on the record saying that. And I'm really I'm really frustrated.
Thank you, Ms. Pappas. Thank you, Chief Gates.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Pilch, for offering that clarification. Was there anything else you would like to add? Okay. But again, it is a sad note on which we end. It has happened too many times in our board meetings, as Ms. Pappas has said. And we do apologize to the family that was mentioned. And so with that, our meeting is adjourned.